Today we're going to be talking about the case where n is odd. So let me draw the example. So 8, 10, 5. So the key idea here is what we're going to do is we're going to try to get these last two numbers equal to each other. The only way we can get 10 and 5 equal to each other is if we subtract 5 from 10, right? So we'll take this interval here and subtract 5 from each of them. That'll give us 3, 5, 5. Then all that's left is we just decrease this to 3, right? So the algorithm we're going to use is we're going to start from the right to the left, and we're going to try to get the current pair equal to each other by subtracting from the next pair. And then that last number, once we have our remaining number, that's the number we'll change to. So let me draw an example. So what we'll do is we'll look at the 10 and the 5. We'll have to subtract 5 from this pair. Now we're left with 4, 4, 3, 5, 5. Now what we have to do is, we have to try to get this pair equal to each other. So we'll have to subtract 1 from this pair. So we'll take this pair over here, and we'll be left with 5, 5, 3, 3, 3. Now the answer is just 3. All we do is we just convert this last one to 5. So that's the algorithm for the case where n is odd. So here's the code. So this will get the test cases. If there are an even amount of elements, I'll call my first solve function. Otherwise, I'll use the algorithm we found for the case where n is odd. So here's the case where n is even. What we'll do is we'll get the smallest number of all the health values. Then what we're going to do is we're going to binary search on the largest value that works, because we want to make the value we're changing everything to larger, so we use less bags of corn. This will do the binary search. It'll check if a given value works, if you can turn everything to that value. And then finally, the highest possible value will be low. If low doesn't work though, that means there isn't any answer and we have to print -1. Otherwise, we'll turn everything into low by going from left to right or right to left, it doesn't matter, and just trying to update everything. So this is the works function. All it'll do is it'll go from left to right, try to change everything to our current value, and if it works, it'll return true, otherwise it will return false. Now here's the case where, now let's talk about the case where n is odd. So if there's only one number, let's just print 0, right? Otherwise, we'll call this init function, and all this function will do is it'll reset everything. Then once again, we'll find the smallest number, and finally we'll do the same algorithm. We went from the right to the left, and we'll do the same here. So we start at the rightmost element, we're going to the leftmost element, we're subtracting by 2. If we reach the 0th element, then that's the value we want and we'll break. Otherwise, if the current element is less than the one to its right, then it's impossible to change it even more. So we have to print -1 and break. Otherwise, we'll convert the next pair to that value. And then just to check, we'll make sure it never crosses 0. Because if it decreases to 0, then we also have to print -1. Finally, if this value that we have is greater than the smallest value we possibly had, we can print -1 and leave. I don't think we need this, but just to be safe, I put it. Finally, our answer is 0, and we're going to try to change each element to that value we found. And then finally, we just print 2 times the amount we found, same here. Because this answer variable we have stores the number of moves, but you need 2 bags of corn for one move. So that's it. Like and subscribe, and I will be releasing more of these videos soon.